Howdy do, everyone. You know who I am? E.T. Templar, Supreme Misfit, Professional Dipshit. And as always, before we get into this long form opinion video, special thank you to the fleet captains, people who donate their money and time to the small corner of the internet, and special thank you to viewers like you. So we are reacting to Vaush, and he, for the better part of a few decades, has been threatening death on conservatives, Christians. He's a communist, Marxist, just piece of shit. He wants to see anyone who opposes his political opinion essentially put against a wall, shot, persecuted, you name it. So I'm not gonna lie, when I see Vaush, someone like this who's been an absolute just leftoid Marxist piece of shit, um, shake and tremble in terror at the current event of Trump's election, I'm not going to lie and say that doesn't give me a little bit of wood. But here he is, Mr. Short Stack Goblin, Mr. Horsecock himself. let's let's see what he has to say.
And forgive me for being a bit self-centered for a moment. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know. They say privileged streamer. My job could go out like that.
Good. You mean like every other conservative and libertarian thinker that was warning you about this, warning you about authoritarian censorship and censorship by big tech? We warned you and warned you, and you called us Nazis. You ridiculed us. You false flagged our content. You censored us. But now that the pendulum is swinging the other way, oh shit! I could lose it like that. I can lose it like that. Welcome to the party, you piece of shit. Maybe, just maybe, the things we were warning you fuckers about this entire time, well, you know, about censorship being bad and it eventually going to come back to bite you in the ass. Well, now it is. Now that their people are no longer in power, the left is in shambles. He's kind of shitting his pants over it.
You know how crazy things are getting over here? Literally, like, at any moment. You know that? They could just say, hey, YouTube, it's un-American of you to allow left-leaning people to post videos. These communist videos are pro-China, kablamo.
We're like what you were doing to everyone else, but it was justified because it was your fucking enemies and the people who didn't share your political angles. So now that you're a little bit scared, this is essentially Vaush eating the biggest fucking humble pie he can get. And I'm here for every second of it. I'm here to see the terror in his eyes and in his voice. Because, again, this is a guy, I'm not going to have any sympathy for a piece of shit that in the past has threatened death on conservatives, Christians, and whose ideology is antithetical to Jesus Christ and Christians. So when he's scared, I'm not going to have any sympathy because he has shared none and spared none. So
I'm out. And that's a little scary. It's literally like there's no, like it's a day-by-day thing. I wake up every morning and I check. So I'm just saying, in the meantime, maybe I'm a little bit more like and subscribey than usual.
Good. Now you get to share in the experience us people on the right and libertarians have experienced. You piece of shit.
You have a backup platform you're planning to go to if shit hits the fan? Yeah, there's a corner under, like right next to the 5 in downtown Seattle that I don't usually see other people panhandling on.
That'd be so fucking great. But it's not going to happen. And again, what Vaush is doing here, which kind of goes into the topics of today's videos, grifters. So he's saying this. He's saying he's going to lose his job. His channel's going to be lost, and he's going to be panhandling under the freeway, which it's not the case. He's playing off people's heartstrings, as most of these grifters do. And let's get right into the other topics of the day. So we have quite a plethora of content. So and news. So this is U.S. aid. The left and other people are making big news about it. But this is U.S. aid. This is paid by government taxpayers, if you see these. And they're funding Che Guevara Marxists. I don't know if this is like South America somewhere or South Africa. So our money is going towards U.S. aid that literally helps overthrow governments. US aid is not what it seems to be. The CIA has used US aid in the past to fund riots, rebellions against governments, uprisings, and here's another one. These are ISIS guys with US aid in a US aid tent. So US aid is kind of a misnomer. It's a cover story that the American government gives US aid to help disenfranchise people, feed people, but in all reality, it's just a big CIA cover story for them to funnel money, dark money, corrupt money, blood money, to overthrow governments and shit like that. So it's a good thing it's being gutted by Elon Musk's Doge. And of course, there's this one. Trans women can and will defend themselves. Today I became a gun owner. Oh my god, look at that. This is some sandpacking. It's gone. We're talking SSRI, like psychotropics, and this person's doughy Marie G Spot doughy dough. Isn't that fucking disgusting? Yeah, of course, no sights on it. But you have right to defend yourself. But that person looks like they're about to fucking shoot up a Catholic school, if you ask me. And here we go. We have Dark Side Phil. And what's he bitching at?
Top super chatter of the night. Now, who on earth is going to drop some subs over on Kick? There has been 0 contributions from Kick tonight. 0. We got a lot of YouTube. We got some tips. Nothing from Kick. What's going on over there? Should I turn the stream off over there, maybe? Just so you know. Starve you guys a little bit till someone contributes. Is that what I should do?
And this is why I can't watch Darkside Phil. He's an ungrateful piece of shit, and that's why I can't watch Smart Guys either with PPP from Kino Casino, because they're just abhorrent grifting pieces of shit. And he's threatening to withhold content on people on Kick because they're not donating. Hey, asshole, DSP, there's people who actually have to work jobs. There's people who actually have to earn and work to make money, unlike your fat ass, where you get like 2 or 3 whales to continually give you money if you polish your butthole. The rest of us kind of have to like make money and actually look for work. So just because the money's coming in doesn't exactly mean, people just have higher priorities than giving money to a fuckhead like you. It's just how things go.
Is that the way to make it work, just to starve you guys?
Starve you guys?
Maybe that's the idea. You must activate the generator first.
Anyways, what a fucking... There's something about grifters that just trigger the shit out of me. Here's another one by our favorite, David Wilcock.
So, I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this.
10 grand a month. So Wilcock, like Shad, who makes I think Shad makes 17 grand a month. Again, it's so distasteful and so irritating when I see people making a killing off their YouTube bullshit, and then they pull crap like this.
But that includes all the super chats and all the ads and everything. So it's not really enough. It's just barely.
10 grand isn't a month for this guy. What the fuck are you spending and wasting your money on, dude? What kind of how are you pissing away 10 grand a month?
Enough to survive. Anyway, what I made last year was $258,000. So that was my tax return. That's what I made. It was just barely enough to survive.
Barely enough to survive. So, as you see, grifters have this psychological game that they play with people, and they always make things seem a lot worse than they are. If you have any sense, like any common sense, 10 grand a month is pretty good, and if you're making that's definitely survivable. So, again, I don't know where he's pissing away all of his money. But as you see, he's making out to be a bigger issue than it is, and that's what DSP does. Kino Casino, not so much, but you will see DSP and David Wilcock and other grifters. Even Shad from Shadiversity has done it, where they purposely make things seem more worse than they actually are, like compared to like literally anyone else. So it psychologically plays into the imagination of people, right? Because if you say you can't afford stuff, you're low on money, your mind instantly already thinks, oh, this guy's doing pretty bad, let me help him out. So it's a way for these people to get sympathy, to use sympathy to create this fake scenario in which, you know, everything's an issue, everything's a drama or like dramatic tragedy that they constantly need money. Mersh from Nightwave Radio also does this. That fucker is always having some kind of financial issue. There's never a time where he fires up a stream and goes, hey guys, you know, things are doing all right. Things are doing pretty good. Because if you did that, you know, comparatively, you wouldn't get donos. Now, other people, like me personally, I don't do that shit because, again, you know, my life, I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to be looking for a job here. And I don't exactly want to be that kind of person, you know, like Wilcock, Mersh, or any of these other online personalities. I really don't want to be that person, and I'm going to try not to. But yeah, it's them always creating some form of false drama.
It's certainly not big money as far as I'm concerned. It's just barely enough to survive.
10 grand a month, certainly not big money.
What I made last year was $258,000. It was just barely enough to survive.
Barely enough to survive on $258,000. Let that sink in for a minute.
You make about maybe 10 grand a month on this. It's just barely enough to survive. It's certainly not big money as far as I'm concerned. It's just barely enough to survive. Right for the moment,
he has multiple camera setups. He's dressed pretty well. I think those clothes are like designer. They're like, they all fit. They look like fancy clothes to me. So I mean, it doesn't look like something that's like from a Salvation Army store, or garage sale, yard sale.
I still desperately need your help in order to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It was just barely enough to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It's certainly not big money as far as I'm concerned. It's just barely enough to survive. Right for the moment, I still desperately need your help in order to survive. So, you know, I do make about maybe 10 grand a month on this, but that includes all the super chats and all the ads and everything. So it's not really enough. It's just barely enough to survive. What I made last year was $258,000. It's not really enough. It's just barely enough to survive.
It's just barely enough, guys. So that's David Wilcock. And of course, we'll round it up with another DSP clip. What is he saying?
I had a great time. Great progress, great support. Except we didn't hit the goal. I'll talk about this in a second. But great fun, and learned a lot about using this gun and had a good time with it. All right. Support. We only hit around $70 in support. Okay. Now, admittedly, when I play Call of Duty, it is hit or miss. There are some Call of Duty streams where I hit the goal and exceed it. There's some that I don't. I had a great time.
Anyways, yeah, that's him complaining that he only made $70 in a stream. And we have one more topic here for you guys. This one, I'm going to have a little bit of a different take on this one. And I think this is the dumbest idea Donald Trump has ever had. And let us get into it.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job.
The people of the area, do you mean the Palestinians? I mean, this whole situation, if you ask me my personal opinion, I find for us to get involved in between a 2,000-year spat war between two of the biggest groups of assholes this side the Levant is a terrible idea. To be third party in between, essentially what it is a ethnic genocidal war that's been going on for thousands of years since the beginning, since Isaac and Ishmael. And this is just the biggest, the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard. The Gaza Strip is about 4.1 kilometers. That's about 20 miles. And yeah, this isn't going to bode well for Americans or America or Israel. And there was a point where someone asked them what they're going to do with the Palestinians who used to live there. And Trump said something like, oh, we're going to move them 1.7, 1.8 million people out of there. Which, like, no matter how you slice it, this sounds like some kind of like, oh, we're going to take over your shit. And we're going to put up fancy hotels for the top 1% of assholes, right? That's what it sounds like to me. Regardless how you slice it, this is a dumb fucking idea. And I can't imagine the amount of rage and fury I would have if another country bombed my ass, killed my people, and then now with their allies are going to bulldoze everything and rebuild it and tell me to fuck off of my land. And yeah, it's just terrible. This does not bode well. I hope someone pulls Trump aside and says, hey, this idea is fucking stupid. But then again, this whole region, if there's going to be terrorism and violence anyway between Israel and Palestine, I don't think whatever Trump does is going to make a lick of beans difference anyway. Because again, we're looking at two ethnic groups of people that's fucking hated each other since the dawn of time. And them committing violence against each other will never cease unless Jesus Christ comes back and, you know, stops it. But other than that, these people are going to be slaughtering each other till Judgment Day. And in my humble opinion, we should not get involved with two groups of people, Israel and Palestinians, that hate Christians, that hate Jesus Christ. Quite frankly, I think they should battle each other to the end of times, as long as it doesn't involve us, our blood and treasure. That's what I'm saying. And we shouldn't get involved in Gaza. And we shouldn't sure as shit be building like luxury hotels and condos, because I don't know, that's not going to end too well if you ask me. And what I see coming from this, if Trump actually does go through with this, it's just going to aggravate the region more, justifiably so. And you're going to create just, it's like slapping a hornet's nest. It's like shitting in a beehive. You know, your ass is going to get stung. And yeah, that's what's going to happen. And I don't see any good coming from this whatsoever. Because let's be fair, both sides have the, like I said, they're two of the world's biggest assholes going at it. And neither group is going to see common sense ever. And this is just a bad idea. In my humble opinion, it's stupid. It's retarded with a capital R. And that's just my 2 cents on it. And of course, you know, I'm not going to agree with everything Trump says. But this one was particularly stupid. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you made it this far into the video, that's fucking awesome. Thank you. And again, there's the fleet captain. Special thank you to these people. And special thank you to viewers like you. And, you know, if you felt like you were entertained, learned something new, or this was interesting in any way, shape, or form, there's links in the description down below if you want to support this channel further. But again, it is not necessary. Just if you feel like it, that would be cool. If not, don't worry about it. Thanks again. See you next time. God bless. Stay happy, stay healthy, and be alert out there because, yeah, I think the road might get a little bit bumpy.
We do not expect you to win the war, only to do what your conscience commands and your cars allow.
To put the fear of God into the savage.